And you've got the polling. The polling shows that a majority, and I think it's fair to say for both, for Trump and for Biden, they don't want them to run.
Well, especially with Joe Biden, though. I mean, he's the guy in the chair. 70% of Americans do not want him to run again. That includes 51, I think, or 55% of Democrats who would rather see somebody else. Gavin Newsom, Robert Kennedy, anybody else get out there because they know Joe Biden just doesn't have it physically and I think mentally together to do it. Now, Trump versus Biden, well, depends on which poll you see, depends on which one wins that. But, both of these sides we've talked about over and over again, Kieran, both parties need to let a new generation come up and have their go at running the country.
Well, yeah, and, as we've discussed before, in politics and elections, it comes down to who the person's up against, and there are still severe doubts in middle America about Donald Trump. We saw that with the midterms. There's a real view that DeSantis would be a much more potent opposition to Biden. So is there any way the Republicans get to that result?
Well, it's pretty hard to see now because Donald Trump seems to be absolutely charging ahead now with the nomination. DeSantis is sinking in the polls. Trump's attacks are really starting to hit him. Trump is really going hard on the the media side of things. Now he's talking directly to his supporters. He's very good at talking directly to people, not, going through the media. And now I think DeSantis is behind like 20 points in the Republican nomination polls. So there's a lot of talk now that he's going to say, well, you know what? I am only 44 years old now. I'll give it a wait until 2028. Well, I'll be 48. That all rhymes. That's that might very well be his strategy now.
And with Biden, so if you look at the Democratic Party, I spoke to Michael Kroger earlier, and he put it sort of in the way that you've got the Democratic advisors in that party just pushing out Biden because they think he's the best to beat Trump again. And it looks like Trump's going to be the nominee. And while Biden might know his own limitations, those in the Democratic Party are saying, no, you're still the best to beat Trump. Get out there, mate.
I think that's bubble syndrome, really. I mean, I think that is Democrat bubble syndrome. They think that, Joe Biden, because he did it last time, and history shows, that rematches tend to go the same way. But I just don't think with Joe Biden in the state he is, that's something that they can count on. They need to get some younger blood. The fact that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of Robert, nephew of John, is at something like 14% of the polls against Joe Biden, and they're not even really having official primaries, shows that there's a lot of doubts among Democrats. Donald Trump, just as much as he may alienate some suburban voters, he also goes straight to the heart of those working class voters, that the Democrats used to be, have an absolute hold on until they got involved with a lot of weird sort of social issues.
Do you think that there's the prospect that anyone might try and challenge Biden? I mean, we've heard the low-profile Kennedy, but is there anyone sort of a legitimate contender that might put their hand up?
Well, Kennedy is a legitimate contender. I mean, the fact that he's got 14% of the polls with no campaign suggests that he is legit. He is he's a thoughtful person. He's got some nuts ideas, but he has also got a lot of thoughtful ideas. So he is legitimate. Gavin Newsom, of course, is somebody who a lot of people want him to run, but I don't think he will. But really what's going to have to happen is something, either a health crisis or a political crisis, including something involving Hunter documents, legal trouble. That's what would have to derail Joe Biden. Then where are the Democrats? That's a big question.
James Morrow, great to chat as always. Thanks.